Welcome. I'm so glad to have you with us today. We're glad you tuned in to see what we're doing regarding theater makeup today. I have to admit that we're a little confined today because of the COVID virus. So both the model for today and I'm Diane El-Shafay, will be using masks. So we will be confined to talking and demonstrating eyes. We will talk to some other things regarding the makeup, and maybe later we can do a full face makeup for you. I am with Run Rabbit Run Theater Productions. I'm their musical director, but I've been involved with theater doing makeup and acting and producing and directing for 40 years. So if you want to know what my credentials are, they're basically experience. Yes, I have some education in theater and in musical theater. However, I have gotten most of my good theater makeup tips from experience and working with other actors and actresses. I'd like to introduce our model today, Kelly Goosens. And if you were lucky enough to take dance with her many years ago, you knew her as Kelly Barr. She has been kind enough to offer to do this. Bringing her in and bringing the makeup for her. This is not my makeup that we're using, and it brings me to one of the first tenets you'll need to know, especially in the days of COVID virus and following. Please use your own makeup. Please bring everything you need. And please don't loan out or borrow makeup. It brings me to another thing, and one of the tenets is know your character that you're going to play. Study that character and imagine what that face should look like. There are many things you can do to enhance your acting simply by painting the right face when you start. I'm going to give you a site in a little bit, and we will post that site for you so you'll know how to get there. It has some wonderful examples of sketches and live pictures of different types of makeups you'd use for different types of characters. It's probably the best one I have found so far. So why don't we just go ahead and proceed?
We're going to start with the pictures.
Let's show you some pictures. On that side, I found some wonderful diagrams, and I have found these useful. The first one is just a basic face, and Kelly's just going to go through and peel them away because there are several examples here for you that you can find on the site that I will give you. And you can draw on, you can print this out on your printer, and you can draw on the options you're considering to get you started. This one is a very chiseled face. If you want to create that chiseled face, what you do is take your round face and you would, let me see if I can get this here, and you'd contour here to create this, and you would have this very austere character face. Okay. And so we have a number of faces. This one is a nice example to use because you can show the eye closed and show contouring on this eye right here, and yet the full face open so you can experiment with your drawings and show yourself what you'll look like. Okay. And the next one, this can be used for male or female. And again, it's just a fundamental face. So pick a face in this site that you like that is closest to your own natural face shape. So one of the things you need to do is to look into a mirror just like Kelly. She's pulled her hair back, and we can see the shape of her face. You see her face isn't round, and it isn't rectangular. It is a long, narrow face. It comes close to a rectangle, and without the mask, we can see with the chin. It'll help us determine what shape it is. But shaped faces are usually round, oval, rectangular, or triangular. And so I think we're rectangular oval here. She has a very narrow face, which is a wonderful face to make up. It naturally falls into the right contours. So, question is, why do we even use makeup on stage? And there's a very good answer for that. Stages are lit with very strong lighting, and the light varies as the show progresses. But in that strongest of lighting, your own natural contours disappear. I'm going to ask Kelly to close her eyes because I'm going to illustrate for you what happens. Notice that, keep your eyes closed, you'll notice that we see contours, and that means where you have a natural shadow from natural lighting. Well, when I put on lights like in theater, whoa, you'll see those contours. I'm trying to get it where it's far enough away that it doesn't overlay her face. I am overlighting her face. Let me see if I pull it over here. Here. You'll see, well, there was no question we lost all of her features, didn't we? But it will actually, here, I'll close that, turn that off. It will actually obliterate your contours, and all the expressions that you have as an actor and actress disappear on stage if you don't have a little enhancement to show your own natural contours or the contours of the character you're creating. Now, there are two different scenarios you're going to find yourself in too. You're going to possibly, and most generally will probably be, most of your hours will probably be spent on an intimate stage. And that means that your closest audience members could be as close as 8 feet away. By contrast, if you're on a large stage such as on Broadway, the lights are even harsher and the distance much greater for the audience. So you need a different degree of intensity in your makeup. For that intimate stage, you just need a little enhancement of what you have naturally. A little bit deeper shadowing, a little lighter on the highlights, unless you're doing a character and then you go a little darker to make that character type. But on stage, you really have to be dramatic with those changes because the light will wash out your contours. Okay, so we started with one of the greatest tenets today. Don't borrow, don't share makeup. Another one is, as you're working, start with wet. And anything that's powdery or dry, put that on after the wet. And the reason being, if you put dry on first and then you try to go over with wet or creamy, it will stick, it will smudge, it will drag, and you won't get the blending you're trying to do, and you'll only just frustrate yourself trying to finish it. So start with the creamy, wet things, and then follow with the powder, with a nice fluffy brush usually to contour, to blend the contouring when needed. One of the other tenets we have in makeup is start at the top and work your way down. And that's because I guarantee if you start down here and then you start working up here, this lip line will be smudged, your contouring here will get smudged, and then you'll be frustrated because you'll say, what do I do? Do I take it off and start over? Can I fix it? Nothing you need before a show. You need this to be something you're real comfortable with. The other thing is, once you have your makeup, practice. Practice your character. Make sure that the character's face is saying what you want it to say when it comes on stage, and that you can actually show the expressions you want the audience to see that you're used to making as an actor and actress. So practice is great too. Okay, now let's go on. That's a lot of talking. Invest in good stage makeup if you're going to do a lot of theater. It's worth it. It manages so much better. Stage makeup is thicker. Ben Nye is one company, and there's probably many others, but I've used Ben Nye a lot. And I'm going to have Kelly show you this. This is a color correction wheel. It's also used to obliterate your own skin tone if you have to completely replace, say, an eyebrow with a different shape. And it has skin corrections, like it has green. So if you're too red in a spot and you need to get back to beige, you can put the green over. It has yellow to overcorrect purple. And then it has about 3 different skin tones so that you can, as I say, obliterate an eyebrow to start over. And we're going to do that today, so you can see how we do that. I do recommend good makeup. It is very thick. Kelly's going to go ahead and obliterate her eyebrows so she can put on an eyebrow. And she's going to do all this work herself. Because again, we are trying to respect our limitations of the COVID virus. While she's doing that, let me see, is there anything else I've missed here? Nope, I've done all those. Okay, starting with the foundation. Kelly has already done her foundation, and she's using her natural skin tone foundation. Do that unless, of course, you are needing to be a character of a different ethnicity. And then you find a foundation that looks as natural as you can make it on your skin to create that, and do your entire face in that color. Go over your eyebrows, everything, so that you have a good, consistent base to work from. You can always do contouring with a darker color, highlighting with a lighter color, but start with a skin tone that is going to be the skin tone you want to show the audience, and that's all over. When you're doing that, make sure you get under the chin, because this all shows. And the other thing people most generally don't think about is you can wear long sleeves for your arms and so on, but the other thing that shows all the time would be the hands. And so you do want to make up your hands, unless you wear gloves the entire show. And even if you do, make up your hands, because you never know what's going to happen on stage. It's live theater, and things do happen. And a glove can be torn off. You can, for some reason, have to take it off when you didn't expect it to. So just put a bit of that same foundation on your hands so that they aren't suddenly, mine would come out very pinkish white or purplish, And so I need always to correct the color on my hands as well, so it looks consistent.
Is that enough?
Okay, I think I would put a little more on.
Okay.
But I would keep it right on the hairs.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah, try to keep it on the hairs so it's as disappearing as possible. While she's doing that, I'm going to show you all a book that I have found invaluable. Can we do this? Is that right, Kelly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
It's called Stagecraft, and it probably has a different cover by now. It may be out of publication in something similar. There are probably dozens of books like this. But a good basic Stagecraft book that will give you pages regarding makeup tips and step-by-step makeup tips. Very, very helpful. I found over the years it was very helpful to me in giving specifics when some of the verbal descriptions were vague or not clear enough to me. And they would give me pictures to follow and instructions as to how to do it. And they show ways of, in this particular book, for example, let's see if I can find it here. Here's one young man that they took to an old man. This is how he started. And the large picture over here is at the end. They show this step by step. Later, if we get to do this again, we'll show you how to do facial hair as well. Here's the young man that we're using for the things that we're doing today. And I'll show you. Here's where they took him to a mildly older man. But he had to play, where is it? He had to play an Israeli. And for that, who had been in the sun, where is he? There he is.
There you go.
There he is. He did entire foundation in another color and used highlight and contouring to create all of his natural contours. So these are very helpful. I would recommend finding one company, trying to stick with it, because usually their things blend together well. Ben and I used to make, and they may still make, a palette that's about 12 to 15, maybe 12 inches long, and by about 5 inches. And it has little pot places, and you can pick your colors to put in there, and it's water-based. And I love it for really fine things that I need to do, and then make sure you have good brushes, including a very fine brush to do fine lines. I find that one of the techniques we're going to show you doing eyes really works best if you have a very fine brush, and the white, Kelly's holding up one of the finest ones we have. It's a good defining brush, but I would recommend also getting the fine-tipped artist brush for those watercolors, because you can control the water-based colors with that. Also, I recommend in your kit having a bottle of clean water, or rather a spray bottle of clean water, and either a towel or lots of tissues, because you may have to reuse a brush for color to do a touch-up, or maybe we need to make a change. And the best way of doing that is to contain the water. If you bring a cup of water, as soon as you dip that brush in, of course it's contaminated with another color. You don't want to do that. So spray liberally on the brush, and then tissue, or use a terry cloth, washcloth to dry it off so you can start again. Mm-hmm. So those are tips. Make sure you have a spray bottle of water in your makeup kit. Small one, travel size, perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead. So we've actually obliterated the eyebrow, and we're going to pick an eyebrow. Let me show you. I see Kelly's going to hold that. We have, in that same site, there are a number of examples of eyebrows. And you can actually speak something about your character with eyebrows. They're very expressive. Actually, you know, in fashion, it's been all about the eyebrows for the last 3 years. And everyone's getting the eyebrow they love. I'm always sorry when they tattoo them on, because the fashion will change. I've been in theater 40 years, and I had careers before that, so I've been around a long time, and I've seen eyebrow fashions change dramatically over time. So this one, for example, is the "oh dear, why me" character that's always feeling like things always go wrong. I never have a good day. I'm always walking under a black cloud. That is those eyebrows, completely contrary to where your natural brow would go. This is more of a natural line. Look at this. This goes this way. So you have to obliterate your brow. Start a little above where your brow starts and come down like this in this downhill slant to create that eye. That works great if your character is, if that's the nature of your character, if your character is always like that. Doesn't work great if you go back to happy later on, but it does work if it's just a character whose nature is like that. You can also get the very evil, scheming, evil person by bringing the inside of the eyebrow way down to the middle, and this one also is somewhat sinister, but not as much as this one. Okay. You can find lots and lots of drawings for them.
Okay.
Okay. So let me see. I need to look at my notes here. Just so that no, we're good. Let's pick an eyebrow. What do you want to do, Kelly?
Can we do one of one and one of the other? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So let's do a natural one, and then let's do an evil one.
Okay. We're going to do Kelly's face in two different sides for two different reasons. One side is going to be the intimate theater, the one where the audience could be very close to you. 6 or 8 feet away could be your closest audience member, so you don't want to look like you have a plastic mask on. Mm-hmm. You want to look very real and natural. Mm-hmm. The other side, however, we're going to do a little bit more dramatically, a little darker, so that those hot lights of, say, Broadway lights piercing through it, you will still see your features. Okay, so Kelly's going to start. Which one are you going to start with, Kelly?
Let's start with the natural one.
Okay, let's do natural.
Natural on the left?
Yeah, we'll do natural on the left.
So we start with our brow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now Kelly's using a pencil. She's just going to basically follow her own natural line. And this side, Kelly, since we're doing natural, shall we do the intimate theater?
Sure.
Okay. So this one, she won't make it terribly dark, but a little darker than she'd go for streetwear. And you'll notice that she's keeping her eye open. If your natural brow closes down too much, I don't know if you can see me or not. No, mm-hmm. I'm too blonde and too far away. Mm-hmm. When you do this, I'm going to suggest, I can't really do that.
Don't pull it down too far.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring this down too far. It closes your eye up mm-hmm. a bit. It makes you look more open and accepting of people. Yes. Oh, isn't that nice? She's got that cream makeup underneath, so Kelly obliterated her brows with this very, can I show mm-hmm. Kelly? I'm mm-hmm. sorry.
It's good.
One of these very light colors here. I think it was this one right mm-hmm. here. And it's thick enough that it obliterated her natural coloring of her eyebrows. So if you want to look very accepting and friendly, you keep the end of the eyebrow up a bit. A good guide for ending the eyebrow is to take a pencil or a makeup brush and go from the flare of the nose through the tip of the eye, and there, the extension of that is about where your eyebrow ends. That's your natural ending of your eyebrow. Good, excellent. There's an excellent eyebrow. Dark enough that if she's under lights, close your eyes for a second. Mm-hmm. I don't know that we can do this. This may not work because it didn't work.
I know it does. It really.
Well, let's just try. No, mm-hmm. too light. Sorry. Mm-hmm. A little bit darker. I'd go a tiny bit darker mm-hmm. because if you see, it really matches her hair color right now. I'd go a tiny bit darker because of the lights, just a little darker than her natural hair color. Yeah, there we go. That's going to show up on stage beautifully. All right, perfect. That was just enough. Okay, what would you like to do with the other one?
Let's do the angry.
Okay, she's going to do angry. So instead of starting, where's my little black thing? I'll use my pen. I'm sorry, I don't see my little black pointer. Instead of starting here where her natural brow is, she's going to bring it in. Because it will look like she's constantly going like this and frowning and scowling. And that's what she wants to create for the character.
So if I start here, do I take it straight up then?
Watch, look at this. It goes at an angle.
Okay, got it.
I'm going to hold this up too for people to see. I don't think I can. We'll do that in a minute. She's starting in the middle. She's going slanting up. But now that outside corner, when she gets to the arch, is going to come down more dramatically. At a real angle down. Yep. There we go. We're getting it. Yep. Okay. Now go in to the inside and bring it in closer here. More in. It's still arched and open, so you want to really kind of close that up. You can almost go to where your nose begins. Yeah. Yeah. And now go. make it thicker. All right, let's see how that looks. Let me see. That's better. Now make it dark. Actually, bring it out a little bit more. I'm sorry. Bring it out a little bit more here and down.
Right here?
Yeah. Really out. Yeah. Just keep working that. Yep. Yeah. Okay. And now darken, because this is going to be for a heavily lit stage. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see something. If we didn't have all that, let's go straight and look straight for a second. If we didn't have all that. See, I think I'd probably take this out even further and out here, go down.
Okay.
Now I know we've already got,
It's okay.
we could probably put some cream color makeup over the top of that, but don't make it any longer.
Okay.
Yeah. And you'll see the drawing really comes in
Oh,
almost
it
to the
comes
nose.
and very slim on the end.
Yeah. Yeah, and almost to the nose. Just keep it, yeah. There, it's going to be better. That's going to give them, yeah. Now we're getting that look as though she's raising her eyebrow going, and squinting her eyes and being mean. All right. All right, good. Now, what I would do instead, and this is how we learn things, guys, so we might change it or decide we should have done something differently. I would make this straighter and lower. Straight, yes, the curve, yes,
here?
it's good to have the slant, but it needs to be, instead of up, think more out.
Out.
Uh-huh.
That way.
And then down. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, it's better. It's getting better. Yeah, the more you go out, yeah. All right. All right. Better. That's better, because if I take this away, you're beginning to see a little bit more anger in that eyebrow. And play with it at home with your own natural eyes, because remember, these are drawn from people with a particular proportion. Kelly has her own proportion in her eyes, so have I. And I know that this one for me would be a challenge, because I would have to obliterate my entire eyebrow, and the whole brow would probably be underneath mine, because my eyebrows are so up so high. Yeah. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, if she frowns, she does look mean. All right. Okay, so we start with the eyebrows. Now we're going to move down a bit. I have a very hooded eye. Can you see? I'm going to go in here. Can you see that I have a very heavily, you can see where the light is. And I've actually contoured my eyes with just retro street makeup through here to alleviate some of that. But it still shows. Most of us have a bit of a hood over our eyes, a bit of thickness here. To open your eyes out on stage, you want to contour with a powder if you have it, or a cream, but you do a lot of blending. And you start at the crease of your eye and move it out this way at a diagonal line across that thickness of your fleshiness of your eye. So start there, yeah, and go out, yeah, okay. Now blend down to the crease, get it down into the crease too, yeah. Good. And you can even come to your inner corner a little bit with it. Yeah. Right. Right. And blend, blend, blend. Already there's a difference. It's probably the most dramatic difference you can do in your eyes when you have that heaviness. All right. Good. Great. Let me just do this. Look at the camera. Can you see now how she's contoured that? Now what has happened, she'll want to go light down here, because in doing that, it brought out, for some reason, this darkness here, which she doesn't want. So she'll use light. You can use some of my cover up there to blend down here and get rid of this darkness. It seems when we do this that it emphasizes the darkness under our eyes. So we'll do that too. If you were going to be an older person, yeah, you could do keep those lower shadows, but we're going to do her age. Yeah, get down into that darkness where the dark line is, low on that dark line. Yeah, and blend a little bit. Don't be afraid of it because you can blend it away.
Okay.
This makeup I have there, though still creamy, is a little older and it's very thick, so she's having to, now you just take a brush or something and blend that. However you want to blend it so it isn't white anymore. It's usually better with makeup to go heavier than you think and then blend it away. You can blot away with cotton or tissue, or you can blend with a brush, but it's usually more successful than to try to go light. Okay, how are we doing? Yeah, boy, that opened that eye. I'm going to do paper again. I'm sorry, Kelly. Can you look in the camera? Okay, there's the eye she's worked on. Are you looking in the camera? Yeah, okay. And then here's the eye without it. It's already looking more young and open, and this is going to open. Now what she's going to do is she's going to use white on her lid. She's going to use some light color on her lid, and it can be, you can use that if you want. Yeah. You want to use a Q-tip or something so you get more.
Sorry.
I'm just thinking, no, I don't care about that, but what I am caring about is you get a finer application, not too fat, so you have to worry about it. Yeah, good. Do that.
Do I come all the way in?
Now what I want you to do is your lid.
Oh, my lid.
From the lashes to the crease, she's going to make it lighter. Good. Now to make your eye more round, you put more light in the center. You make it the center of it
Here?
even lighter. No, in the lid.
Oh, on the lid.
So if you want your eye to look more round, you make the center, right in the, stripe, almost a stripe, a vertical stripe up and down.
I did too much.
Yeah, that's okay. It's okay. And that will make the eye seem more round when you open it. Open your eye. Let's just see. Can you look up a bit? Because right now it, okay, good. All right. Now, let's go over here and decide what we should define for this evil eye. Again, I would probably make almost the entire eye dark. Use the darker shade, blend it a lot, but I'd start at the crease like you did the other one.
Okay.
And go up, not all the way up to the brow, because we're going to have to put a little white line under the brow. Yeah. Blend, 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 blend. Yeah. Blend all the way down into the corner. All the way down in the corner of your eye, all the way to your nose. Okay. Good. Coming. It's coming. Okay. Now, I go down on the lid a little bit too.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. It's a little bit better. Yeah. Great. All right. Now, okay, so we've done shading. Now she can line her eyes, and you can do that either with a liquid and an artist's brush, with a water-based palette paint from Ben Nye, or you can do cream and a fine brush. Kelly's going to use a defining brush. Can you show them the tip to that? It's a very flat brush, and it tapers. So she has some control over where a line is going to go. And she's going to line her eyes now. Now when she does the liner, she can put it on just about any way you're used to doing it, above your your eyebrows if you want. I have to, because I have a huge waterline, I have to go between my lashes and my eyeball. And you have to be careful. Mine has already disappeared. I had some, it's already disappeared here. Street makeup does not stay on there very well. Theatrical makeup does, but you have to be careful not to get it in your eyes. So sometimes it's better just to make all of that white and make the liner right at the edge, the lower edge of the eyelashes.
Okay.
Sometimes that just works better. So go ahead and line any way you want to line it, but when you get to the corner, don't fill in the corner.
Okay. So with a light or a dark?
Dark.
Dark.
We're going to go dark now. So it'll be underneath the lashes on the bottom. And a little trick to everybody. You notice how Kelly just put her chin down? When you're lining your lower eye, if you have a hand mirror, hold the hand mirror up here, your face level, and look up into it. This lifts the upper lid away, right now, to compensate, because we don't have that small mirror for Kelly here, she's dipping her chin down so that naturally her upper eyelid is pulling away and everything is getting out of the way. That's great. Let's do the other eye. Now, one of the tricks for stage makeup, and one that I can't tell you, impress on you enough, is there is a trick to making your eyes look open on stage. If you close the eyeliner at the corner, after she does this, I'm going to have Kelly go ahead and do the upper liner. When she does this upper liner and goes to the edge, she's not going to close that outer corner. She's going to do something different. And as she gets close to the corner, she stops. This will make your eye look larger on stage. So if you need to look like an open person, friendly, kind, and you're not doing some dramatic eye that has to be closed because of the nature of the makeup itself, you want to stop short of the corner. And then you can actually make a little outward eyelash if you want to. If you need to add to your eyelashes a bit, you can go and swoop up a bit. She's doing that now. Perfect. Perfect. Now in the bottom, she can also go down ever so slightly, but not a lot, not dramatically so. So she's going to do that on both of her uppers now. And she's going to go up at the corner instead of closing the corner. This is a little like if you fence a yard. If you put a fence around a yard, the yard looks smaller. If you leave it open, it always looks larger because you can't quite tell where the boundary is, and the yard always looks larger. Well, it's the same thing as in landscaping when we're doing our faces. She's going to put a little bit of lash going up, and she can put a tiny bit down if she wants to.
Here?
Yeah, but just ever so slightly. That area she has defined between there is going to be lightened. Now, for an intimate stage, you can use white or you can use a very, very light cream color. Yeah. So let's say she's in an intimate stage and she wants to have that open eye, but she doesn't want it to look like she has a white streak there. She's going to use a very pale color. And you might use white and then go over it with a pale cream. But do you see how she's just now putting a white or a light color in the actual corner of her eye and bringing it and extending it out? What happens is when this gets under hot lights, this opens the eye. Okay, let's do it more dramatically on the other side. We're going to blend that one a little bit, but yeah, just a tiny bit. Yeah, okay. Good. Yeah, that's probably enough.
Oh, really?
But I would do it in white for a big stage.
Okay.
And I don't know if we have any white. We got some real pale.
I have some white here.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to look like you have a weirdest face in reality, but on stage it looks good. We're going to show you some pictures here too. These are people going for the natural look, and this is taken from that book, but it's expanded a bit. And you'll see how the gentleman in this photo, you can see right there where he used carmine, which is sort of a reddish brown, to shade this area here right around his crease, and he brought it out here rather than having lashes going out, and he shaded the bottom with carmine, and he stopped short of closing it, and then he put a very narrow white line right there, and that will keep his eyes from looking like they're teeny closed up eyes on stage. Right? Okay.
Can you all see that?
Now, many of the professional theater companies will teach us to put a dot of carmine in the center. And we've got close to carmine. It's a reddish color. Now I got to tell you, she's going to use the hard end of, let's see, there it is. Where's that stir? That green stir. Okay. She's going to use that to dot the inside of her eye. I want to caution you, anything with red, do not get it inside your eye. Red is very irritating to the eyes. The things they use for red dyes are usually very irritating, so you don't want to do that. So what you want to do instead is to just make a dot on the fleshy part just below the eyelashes, but in the center corner. It's just ever so slightly. It's very little. Yep, that's it. And on the other one. Yeah. Now the one for more natural lighting, I would take a Q-tip and take some of that red out a little bit, just blend it a little bit, so it doesn't look so obvious. All right. Okay. And now she'll follow with a heavy application of do you have mascara with you? Yeah, with mascara. And then she'll powder everything with a light powder and a fluffy brush to hold it and set it.
Do you do mascara on the bottom?
I do. I do. You don't have to if you do on stage, if you do a liner. Honestly, mascara, some people just smudges. And it becomes more troublesome than it's worth. And on stage, you don't see those little tiny hairs anyway. But if that's the case, make your liner a little bit thicker and just make sure it's nicely blended and you wouldn't have to do the bottom. Okay. Now, let's take a piece of paper. Now we're just looking at eyes right now, but let's do this.
Can you hold it?
See how pretty her eye looks. It's a beautiful eye, and it looks open and accepting, and you don't really see this white over here, but I definitely see it with a bare eye. I can see it, but you're not going to notice that on stage. Now let's take the other side, which is a little darker. Now, lessons learned, I would probably do the brow again, and I would do it lower and out here, just for a sinister brow. There's nothing wrong with this brow for stage. I think I would put, no, I think it's okay. It's all right. I can see that eye on an angry, mean kind of person. Yeah, there we go. Look at the expression. Look what it brought out. It allows her to show that as an actor or an actress. Yeah. And you'll see that you have a difference. Now let's take the paper down. Let's talk about contrast here. Our lighting is not perfect here, so it's kind of hard for us to show you. And you really can't see the difference. I can see it with the naked eye.
Maybe if I go a little closer. There you go.
You can see how defined all the lines are here. We're getting a light bounce here. This white is not defined like it appears to be. There's a light bounce here going on. Let me see if I can shade it a little bit. This one is brighter. It might even be thinner and more defined if we could use the water, because the water-based one gives you a very fine line, and it would just go underneath the dark. This one, keep it blended because you're close to your audience. And then you have the difference between one eye and another. It's not dramatic here. Partly it's because of the makeups we've used. I do think if you want definite lines, go with a water-based palette and real fine makeup brush. You'll get real fine lines in where you want them. But we were able to see that here. I'm going to quickly show you some other things just for fun because we're running out of time. This is a picture, a Catwoman makeup. But you'll notice that even here, and I don't know if you can see it, I can see it, there's a little bit of white right there. She actually made a very fine line up here and a fine line here. This is for, by the way, this is for more intimate theater, not for one far away. And there's a white line right there. And it kept her eyes from being too closed. We're just going to go through these quickly. This one also shows really good contouring for the shadow here. If we can take it down, yeah. There we go. You can, very good contouring line here and good blend on it. And that's why I printed this one up. You'll also notice she changed her eyebrow. This appears to be her real eyebrow. She seemed to have started here. She really would have, in general, she would have covered this up more, I think. I thought at first this was the contour, but I don't think so. It could be this is her eyebrow, but it looks very much like she was trying to go this direction with it. Okay. This is a more full cat face, which, yes, the corners are closed up, but if you close them up, you have to go very dramatically with an upward and outward sweep. And if we could see the next eye. Here's an example of a very dramatic eye that's closed up. It will look large. It starts way in on the nose, on the very beginning of the nose, and goes all the way out to that high sweep. Okay, this one is just one for contouring. We'll do that another day. That one is more for showing facial contouring. And I think, real quickly, in case we get to do this again one day, I want to show you some things to come. We can show you how to age yourself. This is an example of one model who aged herself. She has slight aging in the center and really deep edging on the far, is that your right or left? It's my left, right? And you can see she even worked her neck here and several lines. And if you remove that one, on that line on the site we're going to send you, I believe that's where I found this, there is an example. I've credited her here. Her name is Rochelle. What's her last name? Barlow, who just asked that she be credited if people use these. So this shows her in her natural state and how she got to full older. Now her photographs unfortunately didn't print it up well. This is in reality in the book. It's quite, or in the on the line on screen online on the screen. It's quite dramatic to go from here to here, and she gives you step-by-step instructions as to what to do with highlighting, contouring, and then lines. This is an example, very easy to see where this young man was aged to look like an older man. Again, we'll send out an example of this to you. And here's one just for fun, how absolutely crazy one can be. Here's a very dramatic face for stage. She's closed her eye, but she's really extended it. And then, of course, the skull. So we can also show you in the future fantasy faces. We can show you how to make yourself an animal. And so we can show you how to find animal pictures and then look at your face and decide how's the difference and how do I adjust where I put the makeup. Because, for example, if I'm doing a bird, my mouth is not where the bird's beak opens. If I'm doing a lion, my mouth is not where the lion's mouth opens. And so we can show you how to do that so you have a realistic look of an animal on stage. And so I think we're done, and we're ready to wrap up. And I want to thank Callie for being our model, because we did have to quickly kind of improvise, and we had plenty of time to do eyes and to talk about them. My suggestion to you when we send the site is to go print up some of these faces that we have, for example, and start shadowing with the side of a pointed pencil. Start just drawing in shadows, black and white for a while. Don't go to color yet until you really have an idea of what you want to do. Print up a bunch of them and start playing with them and see what you can create for yourself. Start with a face shape, however, that is close to your own. That's all I have, and I thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.